Welcome, Taurus, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 13th of April for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week first, then on screen your event chart as you go into the week always provides an influential backdrop. I'm then going to go through each of those influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. As you go into this week, there's a gorgeous angle between Venus, your ruler, and Jupiter, the planet of luck. But they're both in traditional astrologies known as the benefics, so a potentially lucky start to the week. Also, Mercury, which has been moving through your sector of friendship, but also higher hopes and long-term plans, and maybe some of those have been disappointing or blocked in recent weeks because of the retrograde and also the shadow period too. Mercury can come back to you at the start of this week on Tuesday, forging a glittering angle to Uranus in your sign. One great idea you've had that just hasn't quite gained traction can do so then. But we do have Mercury then moving into the sign of Aries. And it could give you food for thought over the next few weeks. And also with Mars combining with Neptune at the start of the week. And then we have the new moon in your 12th solar house on Friday. 12th house new moons always a little bit challenging because the 12th house is about the part of life that many of us aren't that comfortable at looking at, which can be giving ourselves permission to rest, to reflect, to step back, and also perhaps to become much more mindful of our fears and anxieties. But it's a new moon that merges with Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, so it has a lot of potential. But right at the end of the week, as the cosmic curtain's coming down, Mars and Saturn, the two malefics, come into a conjunction for the first time in 28 years. What does that mean for you? So on the screen now, Taurus, is your event chart. And there's Venus in your sign, forging that delicious link with Jupiter, both at 16 degrees. Now, Venus in the first house is very much about considering your personal image. And if you have been considering doing something a little different, a novel, Jupiter suggests that someone you're close to, a friend, could be cheering you on and giving you as much encouragement as you need. But it's a wonderful enabling angle between Venus and Jupiter. And if there is something that you're talking about or are interested in that's more creative and can demonstrate your flair, you could have a significant breakthrough. But also on Monday, we have a square between the moon and Uranus in your sign. So even if you are wanting to do things on your own terms, absolutely understandable. There could be someone you need to talk to or collaborate with who's a little bit more inclined to do things differently to you, and there could be a little bit of a challenge. But if you're really clear on what your career goals are, Pluto right at the top of your chart, but linking so powerfully with Saturn, suggests what you're doing behind the scenes can have just as much influence in terms of what people actually see. So the research, confidential discussions, applying for jobs, for example, or thinking deeply about where you want to head as far as your goals and ambitions. But that brings us to Mercury's link with Uranus, which I explained to you. That peaks on Tuesday, so Mercury moves forwards. And that idea that you are really excited about can truly sparkle that day. But then on Monday, we do have a conjunction between Mars and Neptune. Now, over the next couple of years, with Saturn in your 12th house, you are being asked to work at that part of yourself that may be less pronounced, our shadow side. But if you are really interested in healing, anything to do with personal development or expanding your consciousness, Neptune's going to be helping you with that for the next 10 or so years. And that's a fabulous opportunity for you. It's just that if you are considering a situation, but you're not quite sure where you stand, it may feel that you're being doubted by someone you need to network with, and you could let that drain your confidence a little bit, but don't. Mercury moves into Aries on Wednesday. It gets out of the steamy Pisces. It's not its favorite position, even if for you it's better than it has been for, say, Aries people. But in the 12th house, that's going to help you to do some research and think very deeply about those much more sensitive strands. But that all really comes to a peak with the new moon on Friday, because in the conjunction with Chiron, the suggestion is if from February 19 you have at times doubted yourself, or you've had to let go of past connections, or maybe there have been some tender moments during that period, it wouldn't be a complete surprise, because Aries is very much about identity, and Chiron can be about where we can feel very supportive to others, particularly in the 12th house. You may have found that loads of people have shared their stories with you over those recent years, but it's important to feel heard by others too. And if you are lacking that kind of nurturing support around you, you can become much more conscious of it. So when Mars moves forwards and connects to Saturn, the two malefics at the end of the week, if there is someone that you don't feel is really giving you that back in, the so-called fair weather friend, it will be something you're going to become much more conscious of. Now, before I summarize those four areas for you, we've reduced the price of the personal horoscope reports so you can pay for one but get three. We've done this because we appreciate that the cost of living has gone up around the world, but I want to make the more formal astrology as available as possible to as many people as possible. So you can order or pay for one chart but get three. Please see the link below. Now, if you've yet to watch your Uranus 84-year cycle video, it's on the screen now. Your Mars in Aries video on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. I work with people the world over, all different time zones. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to sign up for your free daily horoscope, fired to your device each morning for your celestial pit stop, please see the link for that below too. So when it comes to your professional situation, I feel you could have a stroke of fortune at the start of this week, but particularly if you're doing things that enable you to express your flair and also your foresight. And with Pluto in a very powerful location, still in contact with Saturn, even if you're doing things out of sight, don't underestimate the processes that you're going through that can have an impact on your long-term hopes. Now, when it comes to your financial situation, that link between Venus, the planet of money, and Jupiter, the two benefics, is very helpful. But it does require you perhaps to step into a situation and seize the moment. As far as energy is concerned, I think that could be a little bit more challenging. With Mars and Neptune in a conjunction, and also the Chiron influenced new moon, and also Saturn and Mars in a conjunction at the end of the week, be careful about where you direct your energies. Don't spread yourself too thinly, but most of all, don't give too much of your support to people who perhaps don't give you so much back. Now, as far as romance is concerned, this dazzling duo of Venus and Uranus are giving you at the moment a particular aura which could draw someone to you. And it may be Mercury who's going to announce exactly who that may be. So if you are someone who's interested or uses online dating, that could be an opportunity. But with Venus in that beautiful link to Jupiter, it may be someone you encounter just in your everyday situation. Have a great week, Taurus. All the best and goodbye.